Can anybody compete with these Cats, or is it a foregone conclusion we're headed to Oakland?
Oh, there's teams that can compete. You didn't ask me whether or not there's anyone who can beat them. Nobody's beating the Golden State Warriors in a best of 7. But do I think there are a couple of teams that can potentially push it to a 7-game series? Yes, I do.
Oh.
And I think they're both in the Eastern Conference. There's nobody in the West that can do it. But I think in the Eastern Conference, it is the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics, not Milwaukee, unless I see more consistent perimeter shooting. You got to make me believe that the Milwaukee Bucks can hit 3-point shots come playoff time. I got to see that to believe it. I believe Toronto can do it. I know Boston could do it. And the combination of those two teams, along with the showman that they have in Kyrie Irving, along with the surreal talent of a Kawhi Leonard, along with Siakam and Anunoby and those guys and their ability to defend. I think the interesting part about Toronto, Will, is that as much as I love Kyle Lowry, who can play, and I'm very, very proud of him. I go back, I covered Kyle Lowry, just so you know, Will, from his days as a high school player in Philadelphia. That's how far back Kyle Lowry and I go. He was a pit bull, incredible player. He's not scared of anything, just goes after it, not scared of anybody. T.J. McConnell, and what we see from him as a miniature dynamo in Philadelphia, Kyle Lowry is that dude and has been that dude throughout his career. But he would be a liability against Golden State because of his size and the ability to the Clays, the Steph Curry. No matter what you match him up with, he would be a liability because he can do but only so much against those long-range snipers. Boston and Toronto is a different ballgame because of their length, their athleticism, and their ability and willingness to defend. So I'd say because of it, I would still pick Golden State. But I do believe there are games, particularly on the road in Boston, in Toronto, where things could be a headache for Golden State. I could see those series going 7 games against Golden State.
Nah, it's a foregone conclusion. It's the Warriors, and I don't even know that it's going to be competitive. For you to say it could go 7, I'm going to say it's not going to go 7. If you say it goes 6, well, who can go 6? You go up 2-1, you go up 3-1, you get a little lazy, you get a little complacent, and somebody buys the game. So 6 games, does that make it competitive?
It does matter to the networks. In a real sense. It matters to the networks.
Okay, now that's an interesting point because, the truth of the matter is, see, I don't know what's driving you. Seriously, like I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you. I'm not trying to put you on a couch. I don't know if you're bored. I don't know if you're looking for the next thing, if you want to be first. I don't know if it's wishful thinking, and I wouldn't even blame you if it was wishful thinking, because whether or not it's what's coming.
Always, in fairness to you, it's always wishful thinking when it comes to me in long series. I can't stand blowouts. That is fair.
Well, we just got done talking about you looking for the next thing after the Patriots. Now we're talking about can anybody push the Warriors. And the reason I think it's got to be something like wishful thinking is it's not realistic. This team, this Warriors team, is just too good. And maybe you're just acknowledging, which is a righteous thing to do, how good Toronto is, and they've come a long way. And Boston could be if they get their act together. But even at their top, Stephen A., they're not this Warriors team. This team is beyond ridiculous now because it's not just a collection of all-stars. Adding Boogie Cousins to this, and Boogie Cousins had 17 and 6 last night.
Yep.
Here it is. He fits in. They're a team. Like, they have chemistry. It's not an all-star team. It's not NBA All-Star Weekend. It's not an Olympic team trying to figure out their chemistry. Boogie is fitting right into 4 other stars that already know how to play together. And talking about how many points they scored last night, 2 points, how many points inside the paint they scored last night. That's Boogie, man. You have to guard him on the outside, thus taking away all the rim protection. Now you got drivers to the hoop. This team just fits, man, and no one can compete.
Let me break this down to you because I think you're missing this, and it's very important that I say this. Yeah, it's wishful thinking, no question about it. I get that. But guess what? I picked Golden State to win last year, but I predicted them against Houston would go 7. It went 7. Because what I'm trying to say to you is this. Now, we look at the Houston Rockets. The greatness of James Harden, who, by the way, wasn't as great in the regular season as he was in the playoffs. The greatness of a Chris Paul and how D'Antoni tries to outshoot you. That was a very formidable opposition for the Golden State Warriors. There were games in that series where Houston's defense showed up, where P.J. Tucker and Trevor Ariza were allowed to get a bit physical, where it became a bit problematic for Golden State. Not something that they couldn't overcome, but sometimes in the course of a 7-game series, Will, you have to make certain adjustments because somebody will throw you off kilter because they don't throw the same thing at you each and every single game. When you look at Toronto and Boston, what I would tell you that makes it very, very interesting is they're 2 of the few teams in the league that have the ability to man up and guard you. The great Isaiah Thomas used to tell us about Chuck Daly, the late Chuck Daly, God rest his soul. Chuck Daly used to sit up there. This was a time when ultimately zones were allowed, and you could switch, obviously, all the time. Chuck Daly was a stickler about guard your man, to John Sally, to Isaiah, to Rodman, to Joe Dumars. Guard your man. Very few teams in the league can do that. Toronto and Boston can. They can man up on you, face up, man to man, and cause problems.
Stephen A.
Stop them? No, but cause problems. Yes, they can.
Stephen A., two things. The Houston series was a year ago.
Okay.
Now the Warriors have Boogie Cousins.
Okay.
And I give you, we're only a week into this project, but you got to admit, this week looks scary for every other team in the NBA. And so those two teams, and I respect the Celtics, who I thought would give the Warriors more trouble than the Celtics have looked like so far this season, and the Raptors. Are they going to be switching on Boogie? Are they going to be able to keep up with Boogie on the outside?
But here's what I'm saying to you, Will. I think that what you're missing is this. We have too many teams in the NBA that are so quick. Help, 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 help.
Yeah.
When I'm saying to you is this, look, Boogie, look, Steph, look, Clay, or whatever. If I'm guarding you, one of the reasons the Washington Wizards made that game interesting last night is because as they were guarding Steph, Steph only hit 2 3-pointers. You see what I'm saying? They were guarding him.
But he was driving to the hoop. Free lane to the hoop.
But what I'm saying is if you turn the Golden State Warriors into a 2-point scoring team, that makes it interesting. The formidability of them is the fact that they're so prolific because they hit threes.
Right.
But if you make them 2-point scorers,
I will say this foregone conclusion thing, you talked about TV networks, we joke, it's a problem. NBA ratings are down, it's LeBron in the West, but part of it is we've lost the drama. That the Warriors are a foregone conclusion. The top 3 things that could take down the Warriors: KD and his emotions, Draymond and his mouth, and Boogie fitting in with the chemistry. It's not a problem right now.